Yes! I finally made it to the stronghold! It only took me 52 hours! Oh boy! Wait a minute! Oh my god! No way! I got the super rare stronghold!
These are some of the funniest fake Minecraft speedruns because the speedrunners are absolutely terrible at hiding the fact that they're literally cheating. This speedrun starts out pretty suspicious because if you look down inside their hotbar, they are inside of their second hotbar slot, even though they're supposed to be in their first one. Not only this, their crosshair is off-centered with the tree in front of them, and you are always looking perfectly straight whenever you start a speedrun. So far, that is already two things that we can point out about the speedrun before it even started. The speedrunner immediately runs straight and begins mining the tree. And as the speedrunner is mining the tree, they say this.
Oh wait, there's an iron golem! Another iron golem! Another iron golem! Oh, my iron golem!
Yeah, for some reason inside of this village, there are an insane amount of iron golems. I honestly think they just placed down these iron golems themselves, where the speedrunner mines another log and turns their logs into planks, which they then use to make themselves a crafting table, and use the crafting table to make themselves a sword. They then use this sword to start critting out the iron golems, but as we can see, the iron golem is not attacking them. This is because whenever you make an iron golem, it doesn't attack the person who made it. So because of this, the speedrunner crits out tons and tons of iron golems and goes back to their crafting table to make themselves an iron sword. Now that they have an iron sword, try and guess what they're going to do. Well, if you guess that they were gonna kill some more iron golems, you're right, because they kill even more iron golems. Once they have 26 pieces of iron, they make themselves full iron armor. They then break their crafting table and even steal some potatoes from this farm. That's when they start heading in a complete random direction. After about 20 seconds, they find a ruin portal. Once they get closer, they open the chest and find surprisingly some pretty normal loot. That's when they suddenly break the chest and underneath it is another chest, which is genuinely very confusing. Inside the chest is a stack of obsidian, which is definitely real. The speedrunner takes the stack of obsidian, and what's about to happen next makes me convinced that the speedrunner never even went to kindergarten, because they have no idea what a normal rectangle looks like, because they try building another portal, but of course they absolutely fail. So they try building another portal and they fail again. But it's okay because third time is a charm and they make the nether portal correctly. They then light the nether portal and enter the nether. Once in the nether, they say this.
Oh wait, I have to do something to find the fortress real quick. Give me a second.
Yeah, apparently they have to do something to find the fortress. And that's when they suddenly go inside of creative. They then type inside chat /locate structure fortress, which gives them the exact coordinates to the closest fortress. Which, in case you couldn't tell, is literally cheating. Well, now that they have the coordinates, they start flying over to the fortress until they finally make it.
Oh my god, the fortress is right here!
Now that they're in the fortress, they put themselves back into survival and say this.
Alright guys, I cut it out, but we are now in the fortress.
Well, apparently they were supposed to cut out them going inside of creative, but I guess they forgot. The speedrunners starts going around the fortress, and I genuinely think they're lost. At one point, they even walk past two of these piglins and say this.
That was pretty good, my thing.
Yeah, apparently those piglins are in the speedrunner's gang, I guess. And the speedrunner goes around the fortress for another 10 minutes, and they are struggling to find the blaze spawner. That's when they turn their game mode into spectator and say this.
Where the heck is the thingy?
Yeah, they're looking for the thingy, which I'm guessing is the blaze spawner. Eventually, they find the blaze spawner, and they just start randomly punching the blaze spawner with their sword.
Hiya, 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 hiya.
And that's when they look over the edge and say this.
What the heck?
What the heck I thought? I think they tried to place down a chest or something here, but it's for some reason gone. That's when the speedrunner realizes that they're at the wrong blaze spawner. So they go back into spectator mode and finds the other blaze spawner and says this.
Alright guys, now I'm at the spawner thing.
They then start punching the blaze spawner again. And then they look over the edge and find a chest.
Oh, I spawned to the chest because I hit the blaze spawner and it spawned it down.
Yeah, they hit the blaze spawner and it spawned a chest. Okay, I don't know. I'm so confused. Well, they open the chest and find some blaze rods. So, of course, the speedrunner takes all of the blaze rods and then they say they're gonna go back towards the portal.
Alright guys, now I'm gonna go back towards the portal.
So, of course, they turn their game mode back into creative, and as they're flying to find their portal, they find this innocent baby Strider and do this.
Oh, baby spider! Hiya! Hiya! Die!
Yeah, this speedrunner's definitely got some issues, I'm not going to lie. Eventually, they do find their portal, they then turn their game mode back into survival, and then they say this.
Alright guys, I made it to the portal. I didn't feel like doing it because it was super long. It was so hard to do it because I'm in survival.
Apparently, they cut it out where they went back towards the portal because it's super boring, and it's hard for them to get back because they're in survival. Yeah, let's just pretend we didn't see them going creative and fly over or anything. That'd be weird. Well, the speedrunner goes into the portal. Now that they're in the overworld, they head back towards the village and start doing a bunch of completely random things. Like going inside of houses, opening the chests, but not taking anything. They even go inside of one of the houses, which has a birch staircase, which in case you could not tell, is not naturally generated. And that's when they go inside of creative and start digging a random hole for some odd reason. They then start flying in a completely random direction all of a sudden and say this.
I'm gonna fly over here because I feel like it.
Yeah, they're gonna fly over here because they feel like it. Yup, sounds good to me. They continue to fly over in this direction for about 5 minutes until they find a village. And inside the village is a giant pillar.
I did not place that there. I have no idea how it got there.
Yeah, I'm sure the speedrunner definitely did not place that there because they said they didn't, and we have to believe them. The speedrunner makes their game mode back into survival and then says this.
Alright guys, I'm still inside of this same village.
For some reason, they said they're inside of the same exact village from before, but they're obviously not because we watched them fly for literally 5 minutes straight to a completely random village.
I'm gonna see what's inside. Oh, it's like a hole. What the heck? Where does it lead to?
Where does it lead to? Honestly, I'm asking the same question. I'm just gonna take a random guess and say, maybe it's the stronghold. It's just a random guess though, and you know, if I'm right, maybe you guys should probably subscribe. Well, the speedrunner goes inside a creative and then goes straight down the hole, and what do you know? They're in the stronghold. So I guess that means that everyone should, I don't know, probably subscribe. They then turn their game mode into survival, and they say this.
Oh, it's an egg portal. What the heck? Oh, no, wait. I don't have eyes of ender.
Yeah, the speedrunner doesn't have Eyes of Ender because they never killed any Endermen or traded with piglins to be able to get themselves some Ender Pearls. But don't you worry because then this happens.
Where am I gonna find eyes of ender? Oh my goodness, a chest! Oh, ender pearls! That's exactly what I needed! I'm so lucky!
Wow, you're so lucky. I agree. I'm so proud of you. Yeah. I'm sick and tired of this speedrunner. Can this speedrun just end already? All right, well, the speedrunner takes the Ender Pearls and puts the Blaze Rods and the Ender Pearls inside their inventory, but for some reason, it's not creating Eyes of Ender. Yeah, this speedrunner literally has no idea how to even make Eyes of Ender. This is genuinely just embarrassing at this point. Eventually, they figure it out and place in the Eyes of Ender and enter the end. Once they're in the end, they go to the middle island, and of course, they go back into creative. They then type inside chat /kill at E, which kills the Ender Dragon, and turn their game mode back into survival and says this.
Oh my god, guys, I killed the ender dragon! Yay! I cut it out because it was probably gonna be boring for you guys, so I didn't want you guys to be bored, so I cut out because the ender dragon.
Yeah, apparently them killing the Ender Dragon was gonna be boring for us, which is probably the most exciting part of an entire speedrun. But hey, that's just my opinion. Well, now that the Ender Dragon is dead, the speedrunner goes to the portal and wins the speedrun. This first speedrun starts right next to a desert village. So the speedrunner starts heading towards the village and begins breaking wheat for some bread. Once they get 8 hay bales, they enter a house which for some reason has a turtle, even though I'm pretty sure turtles only spawn inside of the end. So the fact that there's a turtle right here is a little bit suspicious. Well, they punch the turtle and then leave the house. They then enter another house, but wait, if we rewind the footage and stop it here, we can see that the door was already open. But if they started a new world, a door would not already be open because villagers always open and then close the door behind them. Well, the speedrunner goes into the house and breaks the beds, which is actually a pro speedrunner strategy. They then open the chest, which actually has some normal loot. They take the bread from the chest and leave the house. They make their way towards another house, which has a door that's already opened. And once again, they take the beds and open the chest, and oh my goodness, why is there so much bread? Okay, well, they take all the bread and they now have 48 bread. I think that's enough food for a speedrun. They leave the house and wander around the village a little bit more until they enter a house which has a crafting table. They turn their hay bales into wheat and they now have over a stack of wheat. But for some reason, they only make 1 bread. Okay then. They leave the house and use their insane parkour skills to jump across this cave. And that's when they find another house. But if I pause it here, there is something very, very strange about this house. And if you didn't didn't immediately see it, you need to get your eyes checked. Because the door is literally a spruce door. When if we look back at all the other houses, they were not spruce doors. Which, if you ask me, is very, very strange. Well, the speedrunner enters this house and finds an iron pickaxe on the wall, which is actually legit and only has a 69% chance of spawning. They take the iron pickaxe and also take the bed and leave the house. They then jump into the cave and find a giant hole with some water. So they jump into the water and they find some gold. They mine the gold and find a nether portal? Okay. I didn't know nether portals could randomly spawn like this. But there is a problem. The speedrunner doesn't have a flint and steel. So how the heck are they possibly gonna light the nether portal? Wait, what? Did you guys just watch what I just watched? Yeah, I had to replay this like 11 times and I still have no idea how they did that. Well, now that the nether portal is lit, they enter the nether. And I'm warning you ahead of time, this nether goes crazy because they spawn in a random box. Not only that, there's also a sign that says not suspicious barrel. And right next to it is a barrel. So the speedrunner opens the barrel and finds tons of ender eyes. Oh my goodness, you don't even need that many ender eyes. Well, the speedrunner takes all of the ender eyes and leaves the nether. And now that they're back in the overworld, they realize that there is no way they're getting all the way back up because they have no blocks. So they turn around to go back into the nether. Wait, what are they doing? Oh my god, a ladder? The speedrunner climbs all the way up the ladder and breaks the sand at the top. And now they're at the surface of the cave. So they run out of the cave, and that's when I thought that they were gonna go back into the village. But instead, they run in a completely random direction. They keep running in this area for quite some time until they find this. Yup, this is definitely legit. The speedrunner places in all of their eyes of ender, and now that they're in the end, we can see that the ender dragon has literally 0 HP. I don't even know how it's alive. But the speedrunner places a super cool bed trap, and eventually the ender dragon perches. And once it gets close enough, the speedrunner blows up the bed and wins the speedrun in record time. The speedrunner starts right next to an acacia village. They just wander around for a little bit until they start breaking every single bed inside the village. They then somehow one-hit the iron golem, which I didn't even know was possible until I realized that it was literally Shipwreck. So this part actually does make sense. They mine a tree and make themselves a crafting table to make themselves a bucket. They fill their bucket up with water and throw it at a lava pool, and now they have a nether portal? Once I saw this part, I knew the speedrun was fake. Oh wait, I just realized this is the wrong footage. Oh my god, guys, why didn't you tell me? If you guys could just do me a huge favor and just simply subscribe, that would genuinely make my entire day. This next speedrun starts right next to a ruined portal. So the speedrunner starts off by running towards the portal, and once they get there, they open the chest, and the chest has some normal loot, like obsidian, golden carrots, and several golden tools. You know, the normal loot. They take all of this loot, but wait, if we pause it right here, we can see that the sun in the background is setting, which only happens if the world has been up for at least 10 minutes. But we're literally only 20 seconds into the speedrun, which proves that the speedrun is going to be fake. Well, they start mining some netherrack for some blocks, they fill in the rest of the nether portal, and then use their blocks to get rid of the lava. They then use the fire charge to light the portal, and then they enter the nether. Once the speedrunner is inside of the nether, they go to a random corner and then suddenly start digging straight down. But their golden pickaxe breaks, so they have to mine the rest of the netherrack with their fist. And after 20 seconds of mining, they fall into a hole. And this is when they turn on their coordinates. They then begin walking around like the coordinates are actually telling them something, and then they go into a random corner and start digging straight down. And they find a chest, and inside of it is tons of blaze rods. Okay, there is no way the coordinates told them that there was a secret chest right there. The speedrunner takes all of the blaze rods, and they now have 27, which is a lot more than you would typically need for a speedrun. The speedrunner suddenly turns on their coordinates once again, and they walk around some more until they suddenly think that there's something else beneath them. So they dig straight down again and find another chest. But this time, there's ender pearls inside of the chest. Okay, let's be honest, guys. This speedrun is completely cursed, and they now have everything they need to be able to go to the end. So the speedrunner starts making their way all the way back towards their portal, and eventually they make it there. Now that they're in the overworld, they start running around back and forth for a little bit, trying to remember where to go. Eventually they figure it out and throw an ender pearl, and once it lands, they begin mining a tree. They get 6 logs and make it into a crafting table. They then use the crafting table to make themselves a boat, and they also make some doors. They place down their boat into the sea and then turn on their coordinates again, acting like they know what they're doing when, let's be honest, they have no idea what they're doing. They start sailing across the ocean for quite some time until eventually they get out of their boat. They swim down to the ocean floor and place their door. I did not mean to rhyme there, but you know, it sounded cool. They then dig straight down, and now they're right next to an end portal. So the speedrunner turns their blaze rods into blaze powder and makes themselves some eyes of ender. They then place in all of their eyes of ender and enter the end. Once they're in the end, they build up to the main island with some wood that they had, and if we pause it right here, we can see that there are 2 ender pearls just randomly laying there on the the ground, which I'm gonna be honest is just simply not possible. Where the speedrunner picks up both of the ender pearls and puts them into their hotbar. But wait, by now we should be able to see the ender dragon's health, but we just simply don't see it, which makes me believe that there's just simply no ender dragon in the end. But the reason I'm saying this now and not a little bit later when it's pretty obvious that there's no ender dragon is because the speedrunner looks into the eyes of an enderman and then throws an ender pearl to try to get away from it, and by some miracle the ender pearl lands directly in the middle of the portal, causing them to see the credits. This speedrunner's aim with ender pearls must be absolutely crazy for that to somehow happen. This speedrunner starts in the middle of nowhere, which is usually not the best start for a speedrun. But the speedrunner doesn't care, and they immediately just go over to mine a tree. They take 4 logs from the tree and turn them into planks, and they use those planks to make into a crafting table. The speedrunner then places down their crafting table, makes some sticks, and then makes a sign where they place down the sign and write, "Pea kinda tastes good." What the? Well, they then begin shaking their head up and down, even though I'm not gonna lie, this speedrunner is a weirdo. They begin running away from the sign and randomly jump into this lake. They swim around for a little bit until they find this weird hole. And inside the hole is the weirdest things I have ever seen in my entire life. We got a broken portal, tons of random buttons, and striders in jail. Like, what the heck is going on? The speedrunner goes over to the striders and then starts punching all of them for literally no reason. They then begin pressing a bunch of random buttons, and then they jump into the portal. Once they're in the end, we can see this very weird path, which I don't think is naturally generated. The speedrunner goes across the path, and eventually they're on the main island. Once there, we can see that there's no enderman. Not only that, there's no ender dragon, but there is a sign that says the ender dragon is busy celebrating Christmas. I'm pretty sure we're in July, not December, so this literally makes no sense. Well, the speedrunner ignores that and just jumps into the portal.
Wait, what? Is that a button? I wonder what it does. Huh? Nothing happened. Wait a minute. Oh my god! It's the super rare diamond house!
These are the funniest fake Minecraft speedruns because the speedrunners are absolutely terrible at hiding the fact that they're literally cheating. Now, this first speedrun is very interesting to say the least, as the speedrunner sees an ocean right in front of them, so they start running right towards it. But inside of the ocean is what my real question is, and I'll let the speedrunner tell you what's inside the ocean.
There's an ocean? Oh my god, is that a pirate ship? Let's go!
I've never heard anyone call a shipwreck a pirate ship, but I guess technically they're not wrong. I don't really know. But the speedrunner jumps into the ocean and finds a chest which has some pretty normal loot, like some paper, an iron nugget, and even some feathers. Everything that seems legit in my eyes. So they take all of this loot and go back up to get some air, to then go back into the shipwreck and find another chest that has some normal loot, like coal, carrots, rotten flesh, and 5 obsidian, you know, like the normal loot. Alright, for real though, 5 obsidian seems kind of suspicious, I can't lie, because if you consider the fact that obsidian literally cannot spawn inside of shipwrecks, it makes this part of the speedrun just a tiny bit suspicious, I can't lie. Well, the speedrunner takes most of the loot because for some reason they leave behind the 5 obsidian, which at first I thought was extremely strange. That was until the speedrunner went back towards their spawn and started mining a tree when they said this.
Alright, we need
Yeah, the speedrunner realized that they left the obsidian behind, which I'm gonna be honest is kind of embarrassing. Well, the speedrunner goes back into the shipwreck and takes their 5 obsidian. Once they're back on land, they make themselves a crafting table and some sticks. They even turn all their iron nuggets into iron ingots. And this next part is just hilarious, because the speedrunner has no idea how the heck to make a shield.
Is that not how you make a shield? What the heck? How the heck do you make a shield? Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, let's just pretend like that didn't just happen. Well, they also make themselves an iron sword and they break their crafting table. The speedrunner then just starts yapping like crazy until they find a ruin portal.
Alright, so far this is a pretty good start for my speedrun so far. It's good start. Oh, ruin portal!
Yeah, they found a ruin portal and they start heading towards it until they open the chest. And once again, they find normal loot. At this point, I thought the speedrunner was trying to make it not too obvious the speedrun was fake, or at least that's what I thought, until this happened.
Alright, let me use my obsidian real quick. Hopefully I have enough. Oh my god, the exact right amount? That is so lucky!
Yeah, what are the chances they had the exact right amount of obsidian that they needed to finish the ruin portal? Now, you could just say they got extremely lucky, but I think otherwise. The speedrunner then lights the portal and pushes down the crafting table to make themselves some golden boots. They then head straight into the nether. But wait, did you know that this speedrunner is subscribed? If I'm being honest, you should probably be too.
Alright, I hope I got a good nether spawn. Oh my god, is that a blaze? Oh, there's a fortress right there!
Yeah, they somehow found a fortress, but from this angle, it doesn't really look like it's a fortress. Well, the speedrunner starts fighting the blazes, and this part was extremely hilarious.
Get pooping on! Get pooping on! Holy moly, macaroni! Why are you guys trying so hard? Calm down! Oh my god, let me just kill you! Oh! Take that! Oh, I'm gonna die! Oh my god! Skeleton, get over here! Let me kill you! Take that! Oh my goodness gracious!
The speedrunner was absolutely struggling to kill these blazes and even the skeleton. And this is probably because they literally only have golden boots for armor. And at one point, the speedrunner gets down to like 3 HP, but of course they have a golden apple to help save them. They then start fighting the blazes and actually end up killing some. That is, until they have 3 blaze rods and they say this.
Alright, I think 3 is enough blaze rods for me. I'm not gonna do this anymore. I give up.
If you know anything about speedrunning, you know that 3 blaze rods is definitely not enough to be able to go to the end. The speedrunner then makes her way back towards the Nether portal, but then it sounds like they start crying because the blazes are shooting at them again. Now I honestly kind of feel bad for the speedrunner, or at least I did feel bad until he said this.
Alright, hopefully whenever I go through the portal, I have more blaze rods because that's a super lucky thing that happens sometimes.
I've never heard of this super lucky thing that happens sometimes when you go through the portal and end up with more blaze rods. Well, guess what? They go through the portal and end up with more blaze rods.
Alright guys, I'm back. Oh my god, I got so lucky that I barely survived. Oh, look at that, 7 blaze rods as well. Oh my goodness, I'm so lucky.
You actually can't make this up. Also, as soon as they got back into the overworld, it said inside chat that they turned their game mode into survival, which proves that they were inside of creative. Well, I also think that the speedrunner hates nighttime because they say this.
Oh, dang it, it's becoming nighttime. Give me a second. Oh wow, it's daytime. What the heck? How did that happen?
Yeah, I wonder how that happened, huh? Well, the speedrunner then says that they're gonna go mining for some stone.
I think I'm gonna go try to go mining for some stone all the way down in this cave.
But as they go deeper into the cave, they find something very, very strange.
Oh my goodness, what the heck? There's so many Endermen!
There are so many Endermen for some reason, and not only that, for some reason, they're just not moving. So I guess the Enderman just must be AFK or something, because I'm honestly confused.
I'm looking in your eyes! Haha, looking in your eyes! Dummy head, get crit! What the heck?
Yeah, apparently, while the Endermen are AFK, they're also invincible. So instead of critting the Enderman, the speedrunner pulls out a bow and just starts bow spamming them and eventually even hits themselves.
Bow? What the heck? They're hacking! They're literally hacking, you freaking cheater! I just hit myself.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, I'm gonna be honest. Well, the speedrunner now has no way of getting themselves some ender pearls. Or at least that's what I thought until this happens.
But you know what? Whatever, I don't need the ender pearls anyway, because, bam, I already have 12, haha!
If we look at any point during the speedrun, they 100% never had any ender pearls. So I'm genuinely confused how they got them. Well, now that they have ender pearls, they start making themselves some eyes of ender, but I don't think they know how.
Alright, and then we make what the heck? What? Oh, I knew that, don't worry, I knew that.
Yeah, I'm very sure you knew that, Well, now that they have eyes of ender, they go out of the cave and start looking around for a little bit. That is, until they find this very weird looking tree thing.
Alright, oh my god, what the heck? This tree thingy looks so weird, what the heck? That's so amazing and cool and weird.
So they start digging straight down in the middle of it, and before they even find stone, they find diamonds, which I could have sworn spawns way deeper than this.
Oh, it's a good thing I have 3 irons, so I can make an iron pickaxe, I can mine it.
They said it was a good thing they had 3 iron ingots. But if we go back to whenever they were inside of the cave, they only had 2. So where did they get this extra iron ingot? Well, they then make themselves an iron pickaxe and mine all of the diamonds, which eventually gives them 8 diamonds. So they use those 8 diamonds to give themselves a diamond chestplate. They also leave their crafting table in the hole for some reason.
No, crafting table, you can stay there. I don't want you anymore.
And they wander around a little bit more until they say this.
Alright, since that last cave was weird, I'm gonna go to this cave instead because, oh my god!
Yeah, they found an already lit end portal, which only has a 69% chance of spawning, so this is actually extremely rare.
The end portal's already lit, so I don't even need these stupid dummy things.
Now that they throw away their unneeded Eyes of Ender, they then jump into the portal, and now that they're in the end, we can see that the Ender Dragon is already losing some health, which alone is very suspicious. Not only that, as they make their way towards the Ender Dragon, we can see this weird pile of what seems to be poop. And it also has a sign, but we cannot see what's on the sign, where the speedrunner starts critting out the Ender Dragon until they get flung into the air. And I'm not even joking, right here the speedrun ends. And that's it. So I guess the speedrunner lost? This first speedrun starts off pretty normal because they're right next to a village. And the first thing they do is run into the village and steal some farmers' crops. Once they finish stealing all of the food, they suddenly see a panda. But the thing is, pandas only spawn inside of super hot biomes, like the desert or the nether. So a panda being right here is extremely rare. Well, the speedrunner picks up an egg dropped from a chicken and throws it right at the iron golem, which does not make him very happy as he starts chasing down the speedrunner. So in fear, the speedrunner runs away until they finally go in a house which has a chest. Now at first this would seem pretty normal until you realize that this specific house inside of a village never has any chests, which makes me believe that they placed down this chest here before the speedrun started. And this is even more proven because whenever they open the chest, they find some weird loot, like an iron pickaxe, an iron helmet, an iron sword, one iron ingot, and iron pants. Loot that could only spawn if this was a blacksmith. So this loot has to be fake. Well, they take all of this loot, put on the iron armor, and go around the village a little bit more until they find an actual blacksmith. And in the chest is a calibrated skulk sensor. I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't even know that was a thing. Where they take this calibrated skulk sensor and start heading out of the village. That's when they suddenly see a ruined portal down in this river. So the speedrun safely makes their way down the hill, and once they make it to the ruined portal, they open the chest and find some actually pretty normal loot. They take all of this loot and use the flint that they got from this ruined portal and the iron ingot to make themselves a flint and steel. They also got one obsidian from the chest, which is the exact right amount they needed for the ruined portal, which you could argue is just a coincidence, but I'm honestly not too sure. They finish the ruined portal and go into the nether. Now once they're in the nether, they get a pretty lucky spawn because they spawned right next to a fortress. But instead of going inside the fortress, the speedrunner instead decides to dig on the side of it. That's when they suddenly find some gold blocks. And trust me, there is a lot of gold blocks. They get them all, which is like 13 stacks of gold blocks, and they make them into gold ingots. They then dig open this hole to reveal tons of piglins, which is definitely not scripted at all. They then drop all of their gold ingots onto the piglins and leave them there as they go adventure into the fortress. Now before they really get into the fortress, some weird stuff is going on because we can see tons of random holes throughout the entirety of the fortress, which I believe is actually a trail. And I have a weird feeling that this trail is gonna lead them to the blaze spawner. And if my guess is correct, I would highly recommend subscribing. Well, the speedrunner follows the trail for quite some time until eventually they find the blaze spawner, which means I was right and you should honestly subscribe because it genuinely helps me out so much. Now for some reason the blazes aren't really spawning at this blaze spawner, so the speedrunner digs out the holes so that way blazes can actually spawn. And once they do, the speedrunner starts killing them. And on their first 2 kills, they get 2 blaze rods, which is not impossible but extremely lucky because we all know someone else who got extremely lucky with some blaze rods, where they continue to just keep on fighting all the blazes until something very weird happens because the speedrunner gets extremely low and even down to half a heart. But a sudden cut happens and we can see all of the loot moved around, and they also magically gained almost a full level of XP, which doesn't usually happen. So my guess here is that the speedrunner died but decided to instead cut it out. But the speedrunner starts making their way back towards their nether portal, but this is when I realized something very suspicious because right before the cut happened, the speedrunner had 4 blaze rods and now they have 6. So I also feel as though they gave themselves some blaze rods, which is actually against the rules of speedrunning. But once they finally make it back towards their portal, they go to check their trades with the piglins. And to say the trades were not very good would be an understatement because they only got 5 ender pearls and they need at most 12. So instead of trading some more with the piglins, they instead just leave the nether. Now that they're back in the overworld, they start exploring in some completely random direction. And if I paused the video here and told you that something suspicious was in this screenshot, you would probably think I'm lying because at first glance it seems pretty normal. That is until we see this little patch of pumpkins, because whenever the speedrunner goes up to the pumpkins, they go to this very specific pumpkin and dig straight down below it. That's when they find themselves in the stronghold. Yeah, this definitely looks like a real stronghold. There's even a sign that says Ral Stronghold, so it's gotta be real. Okay, the speedrunner at least tried to make it seem like it was a real stronghold, but I'm gonna be honest, this is absolutely absolutely terrible. The speedrunner opens up their inventory and we can see that they now have 12 ender pearls, even though whenever they were trading, they only had 5. So I guess at some point during the speedrun, they must have given themselves some ender pearls, where they make themselves some eyes of ender and place in all of the eyes and enter the end. To say this end fight was close would honestly be generous, because the speedrunner doesn't hit the ender dragon a single time. They instead start randomly building up and build this weird structure out of obsidian and crying obsidian, and even place down their skulk sensor. They then start punching their skulk sensor until they suddenly type inside chat /kill@A. But before they do that, they change their game mode to creative and then they type it, because this is supposed to kill every entity inside of the game. And if the speedrunner is in creative, it won't kill them, right? Well, actually wrong, because the speedrunner types in this command and it actually kills him. And at this point, the speedrunner is just mad, so they just give up and the speedrun just ends there. The speedrunner starts by mining a tree, but the tree is falling. Okay. Well, they then go into a cave and open an emerald. Wait, what? Oh my god, this is the wrong footage. I am so sorry. If you could do me a huge favor and subscribe, that would genuinely make my day. This speedrunner starts by choosing their world, and they go to click on a world that they already created. And if we look closely, the world says it's in creative. Not only that, but there's also cheats, which is against the rules of speedrunning, where the speedrunner clicks on the world, and once they spawn in, their spawn seems pretty normal. That is until they turn around and they're in a village. They start heading around the village, and for some reason, the villagers are growing birch trees. I've never heard of that before, but maybe it's in the newest update, where the speedrunner goes inside of a pen where there's a cow and a tree, and they start mining the tree. They mine some logs, and underneath the last log is actually a chest. So the speedrunner opens the chest, which has full diamond armor and some diamond tools, which if you ask me is 100% legit. They take all the armor and the tools and put on the armor, and then they start spam clicking on the iron golem. But if we look back at the very start of the speedrun, they were on version 1.20, which means that spam clicking doesn't even do any damage. So the speedrunner sits here for a very long time, constantly hitting the iron golem until eventually it dies. They pick up the iron and then head inside of a house to steal one singular potato. Don't ask me why, because I have no idea. They begin heading out of the village until they find a lava pool and a nether portal that's already lit for some reason. So like any normal person, they're obviously gonna go inside of the portal. And the speedrunner got a lucky spawn because they're in the fortress. So they start heading down the path of the fortress until they find a chest and a sign. And the sign says happy birthday. So I guess it's the speedrunner's birthday. And inside the chest is some eyes of ender. Dang, this is one lucky speedrunner. They take all the eyes of ender, and as they turn, we can see an end portal in the nether, which is very strange. But the speedrunner makes their way back towards the portal and enters the overworld. Once they're back in the overworld, they find this waterfall. So of course they climb it and they swim into the hole where they find this secret base. And there's also a lectern with a book. The speedrunner clicks on the book and the book says, "Congratulations." I didn't even know that was a word, but okay. "You did found the Mr. PP the Greats Jr. the Second the Great's secret base. This base is a secret base." Wow, it's a good thing they said this base is a secret base 2 separate times back to back, or else I would have had no idea. Good job, Mr. Speedrunner. To find the end portal, you must first do riddle on the next page. The riddle is on the next page. Once again, they said it 2 times, just in case we forgot it was on the next page like 2 seconds later. Well, the speedrunner goes to the next page, and it says, "What you looked for is under the lectern thingy." And there's also a hint that says it's under the lectern. Even though this riddle was super duper hard, the speedrunner figures it out and breaks underneath the lectern to find whatever monstrosity this is. It's like an end portal, but it's not. I don't really know. Well, either way, the speedrunner jumps into it. They start building up and head towards the middle of the island. That's when we realize that there are no endermen. Not only that, but there's also no ender dragon. And the portal is already lit. But instead of going inside of it like a normal speedrunner would, they instead click on the egg. They then grab a torch and place it under the egg, so that way they now have the egg. But instead of leaving the end with the egg, they instead travel towards the edge of the map and throw the only egg in the entire game of Minecraft off the edge. You have to be a lunatic to do that. Well, now that they did that, they go towards the portal and just simply beat the speedrun. If you enjoyed that video, I would highly recommend clicking this video because this video is even cooler.